Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Battle for Wesnoth Amateurs Cup. We are near the end of the tournament. This is the second and final match of the semifinals. Next we have, of course, the final round to determine our champion. And, well, probably before that we'll have the bronze medal match, the third place game. I am in that game since I've already been knocked out by Brongue, so one of our finalists is determined, and now this game will determine who will be facing Brongue in that final. Will it be Sergey or Lemon? Now, both Sergey and Lemon are actually playing Northerners. The way this game was set up, they didn't have mirror matches turned off, so it is a mirror. Let's see how this goes. So, to the north, we have got a very heavy grunt recruit, 4 grunts, 1 Nagini fighter, an orcish assassin, and a wolf rider. To the south, a little bit more of a mixed bag. We do still have 2 grunts, but we've got an assassin, a troll, a naga, and an orcish archer, so plus the wolf rider. So slightly more varied recruit from Lemon. And all this stuff is just the basic game start village capturing that you see every time. Lemon's being a little bit more efficient about it, but overall I don't think there's an issue with it. So we have now discovered that it is indeed a mirror match. So, with a Northerner mirror match, you're probably going to see a lot of blood at nighttime, but, well, it'll kind of depend. Because both players are going to be fairly cautious just to make sure they don't get overwhelmed by damage output. Right at the moment, what we've got is fairly large forces from both sides over on the right flank. I would say that Lemon has a little bit of an edge here. For one thing, his commander is nearby. For another thing, his composition is a little bit better. Yes, there are 2 orcish grunts who can put out a lot of damage. Well, actually, I don't know. Both sides have an assassin. However, Lemon has an orcish archer here, so he can do damage with no retaliation, without a whole lot of trouble. So we'll see what happens over there. Down here, Sergey is kind of pressing on the flank. He doesn't want to go in for the attack, though. Over here, we've got the risky open, in the open grunt fight. Yeah, Lemon's about to lose that grunt, I think. Yikes, no hits whatsoever. And Sergey is falling back a little bit. But yeah, the orcish archer is coming in, do a little bit of free damage. Oof. Ginnak there is doing some solid work. Now, a wolf rider on a mountain is actually a fairly tough target just because they get 60% defense, so it's like being in a castle. It's exactly the same as being in a castle for them. That said, this wolf rider is definitely going to go down. He can't fight his way free of this, and nobody is coming to help. That said, if he can last another turn or two, he might provide enough of a distraction for these 4 units to push off these 2 grunts and claim this side of the field, which could be interesting. Over here, rough equivalents. It looks like Lemon is pushing, or was pushing. We'll see if he keeps doing that during the daytime. But yeah, that orcish archer just keeps on pushing in just to get the damage done. Oh, there we go. Got a grunt dead. So, even trades so far. And even the wolf rider getting a little bit of damage of his own out. But on this side, Lemon's pulling back. He doesn't need to be in that fight particularly. Since he has an advantage over on this side, he can more or less just lean on that. Now, this grunt should just run. Stopping on that village would be a serious mistake. That said, he can still be caught, but probably not killed. Okay, there goes the wolf. But yeah, Lemon Ice has something of an advantage over on that side now, albeit that advantage could quickly go away. There are units coming to save the day here. There's a bunch of units, actually, ready to come crashing in just a couple turns as it starts to turn nighttime. And this Orcish Assassin could be a serious problem. Yeah, Vadish here is going to be an issue. So probably it's time for Lemon Ice to fall back. Over on this side, he's got a solid hold on the good terrain. Either it's time to completely fall back over here, or it's time to push these guys up and try to kill him and take this village. That's what I would say. Or try to kill him and take that village, one of the two. Excuse me. Okay, we got a lot of damage on Vogragdish, or Vogragdish. Yeah, Vogragdish. What a name. Okay, they are pushing in on this flank, using the distraction over here in an effort to make some gains on this side. That Orcish Grunt is, he's having a struggle. Oh, 2 out of 2 hits, and the Grunt goes down. The village is reclaimed. So, right at the moment, turn 10. Just gonna pause real quick. Turn 10, and luck has been, I would say this is Sergey. Luck has overall been on his side. He's taken quite a bit less damage than one might expect. He's inflicted a little bit less damage than one might expect. But in terms of losses, the losses have been fairly one-sided. He's killed 3 units, he's only lost 1. He's doing well. In terms of position, however, he's about to lose this village, and I don't think he has much prospect of getting it back. Lemon just has too many forces in this area. He's going to kill Vriol here without too much trouble, take this village, and secure it over the night. And he can send some reinforcements up. He also has this Naga kind of hovering around, ensuring that Sergey has to keep paying attention to the center. Over on this side, Sergey has significantly more forces than the enemy, and some highly experienced units, which is great. This one especially is close to leveling up to a Slayer. But they're going to face kind of a hard push if they want to fight their way through here, and I think reinforcements could arrive in time to save these 4 units. This is enough to make taking the position problematic. Ooh, a bold strategy caught him. See if it works out for him. Ooh, 3 misses on an assassin. That's always sad. Okay, yeah, so Lemon Ice is falling back in order to try and avoid combat before full night. Kills the Grunt. Poisons another Grunt. Punches a 3rd Grunt. And he's just taken cheap damage. And he's taken this village with his Naga. Clever, clever man. So now, Sergey is in an interesting position. His superiority in kills has eroded significantly, and he's lost the income parity, because he now only has 6 out of 16 villages. So even though, if we pause again, even though losses and kills are even, and he's slightly up in terms of gold killed, he's losing the income game just because of positioning. Okay, so yeah, I think Sergey is falling off as the fight goes on. With the income lost and the overwhelming superiority of forces over here, I think Lemon's going to be able to clean these units up, and if reinforcements start moving over in that direction, he'll be able to take them out as they trickle in. And he's got a couple of Naga and an Archer to fight this Nagini. If he can. Well, that Naga's pretty badly beaten up right now. I think he's going to try to get Hork leveled up here, but it's going to be a little bit tricky. Up. Oh, there we go. And Hork is 3 XP from leveling. A lot of poison going on. Oh, he's trying for the hits on the Slayer. But yeah, Lemon definitely has a positional advantage at this point. A pretty strong one, too. But we have our first level 2 unit, a Slayer. A Slayer for Sergey. But, okay, hold up. This is risky as hell. Well, okay, so he's positioned it properly in the sense that not many units can hit him right now. That said, these units could swing around. If they can manage to kill this Naga fighter, then he'd be in real trouble. The odds of them being able to do that are fairly low, I suppose, but I don't know. This rubs me a little bit wrong. But, okay, there we go. It paid off, and Lemon is retreating. He's cutting his losses from that fight. He did reap a significant benefit in terms of income. And, of course, like I said, the losses, I think, were kept even, if not slightly, on his side. But it wasn't quite enough to actually push the fight to a conclusion. Giant enemy wolf. What? A little bit of dancing around from both players. But that's kind of to be expected. So, let's pause again to take a look at positioning. Lemon is oriented along this axis. He's ready to make another push on this side or defend a push from that side. Sergey is gathering forces on the left, and he's about ready to push on the left. That said, I think that might be a mistake, because once again, defending is a big advantage, and I don't know that these units can push through these units before these units could make another push and take more ground on that side. Statistically speaking, yeah, Lemon has still been worse off luck-wise by a fairly significant margin, and he's lost one more unit. Although he has killed 5 enemy grunts specifically, so Sergey has been leaning very, very heavily on grunts. Oof. Punished. Trading throwing knives with a Slayer. That Slayer is really doing the Orc God's work there. And here comes the push, it looks like. While falling back in the center. Okay, got a little bit of poison out. A Goblin Spearman. Don't forget about me, guys. I'm coming too. Oh god, just for you, GC. Lord have mercy. That Slayer is pretty bad off, but he's not going to get punished for it because he's all the way back in friendly territory. Oh, Orcish Assassin down. Grunt close to leveling. Archer close to leveling. Sergey's making a very competent push over on the side there. But it's being met with an equally competent defense. The trick will be keeping these units from leveling. Because, you know, Sergey's already gotten 1 level, and Lemon does not want him to get a 2nd. Or, heaven forbid, a 3rd. Okay. Little Naga off there. Lemon pointing out that he has rolled Northerners in almost every game so far. This is one of the longer games, actually. Turn 18, and no clear advantage yet. Although Sergey is ahead in kills and has retained his positioning, so I would say Sergey is winning at this point, but not by much. Sergey's also winning on the in the experience game, which is important. Lemon is on the defensive. But I would say not having too much trouble organizing defenses that Sergey doesn't want to push too hard. And there's a lot of goblins coming out. Like a lot of goblins. Okay, so let me pause here and talk about this for a second. Lemon is recruiting goblins because they don't have upkeep. They're level 0 units, so they don't cost money to have just sitting around. So he has them just sitting around while he's on the defensive like this. They don't reduce his income because they don't cost upkeep. And yeah, they're shit units. Like, they are, I would say, half as useful, if not less, as most level 1 units. But you can have as many of them as you want. He can use them to hold position. He can use them to just kind of clog up enemy movement. They don't have zone of control, but they do, like, just block hexes by existing. And they only give 4 experience if they're killed, so even the high experience enemy units won't level by killing a goblin. So that being so, in this situation, yeah, it makes sense to recruit a bunch of goblins if you want. I personally still probably wouldn't do it, but I don't know. In this situation, yeah, it makes sense. For all that I hate goblins and think they're dumb, and don't like their ugly faces, in this situation, sure, goblins, by all means. You can see the income difference. Sergey only has an income of 9, while Lemon still has 12. And now Lemon is also starting to recruit goblins. Okay. Oh, nice! That was lucky. But that high experience grunt hanging out in front of the line, that's a little bit risky, I think. Have an old Hork out there, just sitting. I would probably swing. Well, maybe not. The threat, of course, is that if Hork gets attacked 3 times and survives, hey presto, he's an Orcish warrior, and then you're in trouble. But, I mean, he's about to be an Orcish warrior anyway, so you might as well go for the attack, I say. Because yeah, he's gonna get the kill on Bogerbag if he can at all. Or not. Okay. Ah. Okay, that makes sense. Lemon Ice is using him as a threat of a kind. Just like, hey, you can't attack me because I'll level up. Always a fun situation. There's definitely going to be an epic showdown over here. The defense is largely goblins and assassins by mass. But it looks like both sides are throwing in their attacks. They are committing to this shit. Although Sergey may be pulling back a little bit. But he's coming in pretty hard. Okay, got some poison. More poison. More poison. See, this is what Northerner play looks like. Poison for days. Oh, there we go, Orcish warrior. Good old Gog dish. The dish of Gog. Yikes. Brutal goblin on goblin violence. Goblin on goblin crime is the real problem. And bouldered. Nice boulder. Yeah, okay, so the offensive over here has collapsed at this point. There's not enough of Sergey's units left, and they're getting surrounded, so they are in real trouble unless they retreat right now this turn. If we look at stats for Lemon, Lemon has now turned the kill count around, and he's also advanced his Orcish warrior, but he's gone slightly up on both numbers and gold over Sergey. His luck is evening out, and he's doing a real good job. He's also preventing anybody from quite getting that experience when they level. This guy could come in and kill this Goblin Spearman, probably. You know, with a little bit of help from the Archer. But even so, he would be in a risky position. Well, now he would actually be in a less risky position. Oh, that Naga's about to go down, though. More poison being thrown around. Sergey's definitely putting up a good defense, but on this side, on both sides, actually, I just don't think he quite has the resources to do what he needs to do. See, like, pulling over there, yeah, he's going for the snipe on this unit, but he's not gotten out of range, so he's still going to be attacked. And that will get him in trouble. And over here, you can see this part of the army is just disintegrating. It is a full rout. While over here, we've got archers and assassins moving in to do their damage, take their pound of flesh. Oh, a kill for the goblin. Good old Gag. Gag the goblin spearman. Getting a kill in. Yeah, but Sergey's units here are just done for. These two had better run. Just straight up get out of there. And at this point, Sergey has pretty much lost. He's not got enough to stop the overwhelming avalanche of Lemon's units. Lemon has 22 units on the field right now. Sergey has... Sergey has an Orcish warrior. Nice. So, Lemon has 20 units on the field right at the moment. And Sergey just gained a crossbowman plus another village. I'm sorry, Lemon just gained a crossbowman plus another village, so he's in very good odor. And yeah, you can see Sergey only has 12 units. So, yeah. Well played to both sides, but this is just about finished. Sergey is just launching kamikaze attacks with the last of his units, trying to get a few more kills before he goes. 26 turns, a pretty long game. Those Goblin Spearmen, doing pretty decent work for their price. In a situation like this where you can work them into a line, oh nice, the promote. In a situation like this where you can work them into a line, I can see how they can work. They're not worthless, merely low value. Oh, that was sad. I'm sorry, Paul. Is this Orcish Archer gonna level? I think he is. Oh, well, no, he's not, because they're gonna kill the Orcish Slayer. Poor Sergey. About to be cut down in the prime of his life. Well played, everybody. Lemon and Sergey, they really made that a fight. And you can see here, Lemon was slightly unlucky. He was actually on the downside of the luck that time. But he managed to pull it through. He lost 17 units, but a lot of them were Goblin Spearmen. The units that he killed were actually of much higher value, primarily Orcish Grunts. And it's weird to be saying that Orcish Grunts are higher value than something, but that's the way it is. He lost 6 of his Goblin Spearmen, 6 Grunts, and a scattering of other units, whereas Sergey lost 10 Grunts and a scattering of other units, including 2 Orcish Slayers. So, very well played. That was game 1, and we're going to move on to game 2 in just a moment. Okay, folks, game 2, and if we look at the full map here, we have Lemon as the Knolgan Alliance versus Sergey as the Northerners again. So once again, we've got some orcs, but now it's orcs against dwarves and outlaws. An interesting change. So we got an outlaw recruit at first, 1 thief, 2 footpads. Just scouts from both sides at the moment. They're moving in closer before they start recruiting actual units. Actually, that's more scouts from the Knolgans still, so another footpad and a Griffin Rider. Meanwhile, the Northerners are moving up, and here come the Grunts and Assassins. Yep, there we go. So we got a Griffin Rider out front with a footpad supporting. Interesting, so high mobility. The strategy of recruiting entirely outlaws as the Knolgans I've heard it referred to as Hodor, although I'm not sure why Game of Thrones should be a reference to that. But anyway, that strategy is just you recruit all outlaws and rush the enemy as fast as possible using their higher mobility. But that doesn't look like what Lemon is doing, because he's got a couple of dwarvish fighters there, and of course he also has the Griffin Rider. Very aggressive push from the Northerners, trying to use the first knight to wipe their enemies out, it looks like, but it's not going to work. It really isn't going to work because there's already 3 really tough dwarven units on good defensive terrain here, including a guardsman who of course has massive resistance to all kinds of damage, and a thief for backstabbing, and a poacher for ripostelous ranged damage on these orcish grunts. So they're not going to be able to push in with these 5 units, or even these 6 units, against these defenders. And of course they have a Thunder Guard who has a massive 28 damage ranged attack. So we'll see how this goes. Huh. Alright, so... Sorry if you notice small pauses during this. I'm getting messages and I have to shift away to answer them briefly. I'll try to keep that from being noticeable. So this is the problem that I have with Griffin Riders. They just don't have a ton of durability for how expensive they are. This Griffin Rider is going to be down under 2/3 HP after the poison kicks in. But up here, these dwarvish fighters are showing why they are not to be messed with. This dwarvish fighter has already dealt enough damage to be worthwhile, just from retaliation, and now he gets to heal. Okay, so the Wolf Rider goes down, no chance to level there. That Poacher might be able to level, but the rush is real. The Orcish Warrior is coming in. Thunderguard gets a beautiful shot to clean up half of the attack over here, and this attack is broken. Absolutely broken. Nothing doing. That Poacher, probably going to die. Well, yeah, dead. Nice. The Assassin with the backstab. Although Assassins don't actually have backstab, which I've always thought was kind of curious. Nope, tried for the cheeky Thunderguard shot, but didn't quite manage it. Did manage to get the Dwarven Warrior. That guy is most of the way to being a Steelclad. Steelclads are very, very tough units. And we have an Ulfsirker on the field. That will be interesting. So at this point, the factions have more or less pivoted. The Northerners are to the south, and the Dwarves are to the Knolgans are to the north now. This thief, even on open ground, still has 60% defense, so not in any real risk of dying. And the Knolgans, I think, have had the better of this fighting by a significant margin. I swear to God I reset this. There's no way they've already killed 14. Yeah, they haven't killed that many units. Hold on, we're doing a reset. Okay, so let's look at those stats again now. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, the Knolgans have definitely had the better of the fighting so far. Now, they've been a little bit lucky, but not all that lucky, and they've, they're definitely winning on points at the moment. Plus, they're about to take out these 2 units. That won't be too difficult with the situation as it is. The Grunt certainly can't get away. The Wolf Rider also can't really get away. Which will leave the Northerners in a pretty pickle. The villages are even at the moment. They might be able to steal this one, but this Ulfsirker will absolutely ruin any unit that's out here that isn't a Grunt, and might be able to beat a Grunt at daytime as well. And that guy is not going to have a good day. So the Northerner leader is retreating. The Grunt is trying to sell his life as dearly as possible. And of course, this Griffin Rider is in the enemy backfield where he can't be caught. These guys are also in the enemy backfield where they can't be caught, but they're not as fast, and they're gonna need to fight. Okay, that's a risky play, given the defense disparity, but might well pay off. Just because the Orc only gets 2 swings. Yeah, you saw how close that came? That was risky, but it did work, so, if it's dumb but it works, it ain't dumb, right? But yeah, at this point, the Northerners just do not have enough units to defend what they have to hold. Although they do have a lot of money, so as soon as he can get onto the... Yeah, as soon as he gets onto the keep, he'll be able to recruit a whole wave of backup replacement units. That Wolf Rider is just going all in on being a nuisance. But the Knolgans just have enough units that they can afford to take this kind of trade. They can afford to fight these skirmishers and slowly close the jaws, as it were. Oh, nice snipe there, though. It's not easy, by any means. But the Northerners are doing the right thing. They're just playing it patient. They keep taking their villages back, forcing the Northerners to take losses and damage in order to keep up the harassment. And the Knolgans are just going to start building their way back up to having enough force to actually stop the enemy. A lot of Wolf Riders around, though. Wolf Riders are pretty decent harass units. They're not super powerful, but they can do the work. The problem that the Northerners are running into right now is just that they don't have the income to fight this kind of war. Did manage to get the Ulfsirker, but that Wolf Rider is going to die. Yeah, that's not actually a great trade, because Wolf Riders, I mean, it's an okay trade. Wolf Riders are slightly less expensive than Ulfsirkers are by like 3 gold. So, yeah, you can, that's valid to do. But, still, gonna hurt losing that unit. And we've got a rogue, so first level for the Knolgans. Yeah, the Northerners are fighting as hard as they can, but this isn't really a fight they can win at this point. They're outnumbered, they're outfunded, out-economied, and they are struggling. They're trying to build up for a push here in the center again, but the Knolgans are just collapsing to defend it. So, you know, Lemon Ice is playing this very effectively, very close to the chest, very defensive, in the way that Knolgans have to be played. They've spread out enough after breaking that first enemy attack. They spread out enough to defend themselves, but no more than they need. And they're doing a pretty good job. The Northerners are just really struggling to have enough of an impact to get back in the game. And at this point, it's the Knolgans' game to lose. Lemon is in a position where he can just sort of take it. And as long as he doesn't do something stupid, he'll win, because he's picking the enemy off one by one. If we look at, not the unit list, if we look at the stats here, we can see that the Knolgans are staying ahead of the unit trade curve. And they've been slightly lucky. The difference is narrowing, of course, but they're staying ahead of it, and as long as they stay ahead of it, and they stay ahead in income, which they are, eventually they're going to win. Both of those assassins are about to die. Excuse me. Yep, there you go. Anything with only a 1-shot or 2-shot melee attack is just Ulfsirker fodder, generally speaking. The odds of them taking a hit eventually are overwhelming. And now the Northerners are being closed in on. There are 15 Knolgan units on the field right at the moment. And how many Northerner units? 10. Yeah, the numbers difference is just so overwhelming. Northerners are trying to make their push, but I don't think it's going well. Lemon is begging for a normal game. Meanwhile, okay, Sergey finally surrendered. Sergey was trying to fight a guerrilla war in an effort to get back in the game. Lemon was not letting him, and without that, there just wasn't a way he could get back. So, Lemon Ice wins 2-0. Sergey goes down, which means that our final is going to be Brongue versus Lemon. The cavalryman versus the defensive strategist. This will be an interesting one, and I will see you there. Take care.